Welcome, everybody, to the Tipped and Stiff podcast with your hosts, Cade Almaraz
and Jarod Sturycz.
And today we are joined by our very lovely guest, Andrew Liu.
Hey, guys.
It is very nice
All
to meet
right.
you.
I'm fucking geeked because this is the first friend who ever wanted to be on the podcast.
Yeah.
This is the first person to get
I knew you before this. Yeah, like the first you've been seeing it from the actual
From the beginning, pretty much.
even before, because we worked at Panera Bread together as delivery drivers, and that's where like we became like friends.
Yeah, that's where we met.
Yeah,
That's
we
where
like
this
just
whole-
hit it off.
That's where the whole deal started.
The whole deal.
Well, you would tell me about like people that you, because you've jumped from a lot of different jobs.
Yeah.
And you would tell me about the people that you would meet there. I'd be like, stop talking to people. Stop.
It's been more because like some of the jobs I've had recently, like when I was at Pfizer, I mean there's some people that I became friends with there, and we actually went to hang out with them, me and Cade, and he was like,
No way.
nah, I don't.
No.
He was like, we're probably never seeing them again.
And we won't.
I still run into them at bars.
I ran,
But-
and he said hi to me. I know
Yeah.
who we're talking about. This person like said hi to me, and I was like, "Hey," I was like, "You're not supposed to."
They were
be
kind of
here."
cold to me last night when I saw them, but anyway.
You saw last night?
Yeah, when I was
Hey, fuck
walking into
these
what's it
people.
called?
When
Don't listen to the podcast.
I remember like one of the first day I met you, and I know I've told you this story, but I was in a really bad mood.
Yeah.
I came from my regular job, and it was hot. I remember it being really humid, and I walk in, and we're saying people's names that like are past co-workers.
Right.
Oh,
Just give a different name.
I'll call you what I always called them on accident, and I don't know why I do this for people. I feel like I do it for people I don't like. I call him Daryl. And that's not his name, but for some reason I got really used to calling him Daryl. And we would be like, I'd be at Panera and I'd be like, oh yeah, something, and Daryl told me to do this, and everybody's like, well, who's Daryl? I was like, oh no, my bad, that guy.
Wait, you can say it. Who was Daryl?
Dennis.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Dennis was training you.
Yeah.
And I walked in and I'm hot and I'm sweaty from being at my other job.
Mhm.
I didn't really like
It was like
Dennis.
August
I
or
didn't like
something.
Daryl too much, yeah.
Yeah.
he he's just so geeked about his job, and it's like it's not, there's nothing inherently wrong with that,
But it was
but
Panera Bread.
Yes.
He's one of those guys that like he's like positivity, like you got to keep it like right here. You got to like be with it all the time. Like
and it's people
draining.
like that I can be such an indifferent person, and you give them like that kind of apathetic attitude,
And they hate
and you
you
watch
for
them
it.
try to be so positive, but they're getting more pissed each time they try to be more positive about whatever. But he came up to me and he was like, training this guy, I think he needed to take a break. I need you to take him out. It's like, but I think he had taken you on a couple rides already.
Yeah, probably
And
like
I'm thinking,
6 or 7.
there's not much to this fucking job, man.
No. He's like you gotta cover, bro. You gotta you gotta get the team together, man.
He was so intense about the job, about Jesus Christ, about
He had
a lot
tattoo.
of
He had a beautiful tattoo on his shoulder here of just like
Jesus.
Christ.
Yeah,
it was
big,
insane.
very big. His whole, he was a big guy too,
Yeah, his arms were
and so he had like not like big as
What
in
kind-
muscle, but just
What vehicle did
Rotund.
he drive? What was it?
He drove a Chevy
The
truck.
Toyota
No, like a
pickup.
Toyota pickup. It was like one of those red, weird looking.
and his social security number is not
Right. What's the license on that? No.
yeah.
but I'm a storyteller. I don't know. I really like to tell stories, but he's like, Andrew, take this guy, tell him what you know. You're doing so good. And it's like, okay. I was so irritated about it. Jarod comes with me, and I just remember when we came back, because we were having all these talks, and I knew you were like early 20s, and I'm early 30s, and I'm like, this kid, what the hell ever. And you said something about,
first of all, that's the appropriate reaction.
Yeah, I was like 19.
right?
I was like 19.
You were right.
But you said something to me, and it really like it hit home, because you were like, oh man, you were expressing to me your fears of if somebody took one of your deliveries or something like that, or it was supposed to be like first come, first serve. If we get back first, then we get the next delivery. And you were really nervous if somebody like jumped in line, and how you would want to be nice but firm about how you went about handling the situation. And you were nervous about finding that like that in between, and hopefully you didn't have to encounter anything like that. And it was like the sweetest thing to me, like hearing him express this fear. And I'm thinking, man, I got the same fear. Like I'm afraid of that too. And
it is so good that he met you and not the other way around.
I know.
It is so good.
Well, I was surprised when I heard,
now.
because I knew Jarod, then I heard the podcast, and I said, whoa, this dude Cade is man, he's intense. It's like opposite.
Believe me. Yeah, it's hot and cold sometimes.
But I remember that. But I just remember, and it's I feel like it's in those moments too where I meet really cool people, and it's not till afterwards or when I can set myself, like, get out of my own way, that I realize, like, hey, dude's a cool guy here, you know, and I'm just, oh, what the hell, one more thing I got to do and worry about. But yeah, we became friends after that. And I remember too our second conversation, because working at Panera,
A lot of downtime.
yeah, there was a lot of downtime, and it was either, you watching the game tonight? Did you watch the game last night?
Yada.
I'm not much of a sports ball person, you know. And,
Love it.
and but I, you know, like, the dude Dennis was always talking about God, or there was a guy Nick too that was talking about something else.
Nick was funny because he was always talking about Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson, like this weird like Jewish like preacher, like lecturer guy he always listened to while he did dishes. He would be doing these dishes, and then he would turn around and like quote whatever he was listening to. It was like some kind of some kind of. He was like a big InfoWars guy too.
Really?
I believe.
Yeah,
so.
I was listening to Alex last night.
I wonder if he got on Q, because we left before Q was a thing.
Oh, maybe
that would be hilarious.
Dennis is in the Q zone.
The Q zone.
But
Dennis is a trumper.
One of the second things we talked about, me and you, it was about psychology, and it was about like being introverted and extroverted and something else. But it was like a legit conversation.
Right.
And I'm thinking, who is this kid? Like, I was like, everybody else is talking about sports, or, I mean, there was a lot of, I knew I was getting a job where there was going to be a bunch of people in high school or getting out of high school and going into college, whatever. But it really blew me away. Just like the two small interactions we had, and we just kept talking after that and became friends.
And you're here now.
Yeah, and I'm here now.
God bless it.
Yeah.
But we originally were going to have him on back when we were doing audio, but like, it wasn't working out with getting guests on the show.
No.
And then by the time we were like ready to have guests on again, we were trying to work out video. And because you're one of your most amazing talents is that you do tie-dye.
Yeah.
One that you made the one you're wearing, correct?
I did. I made this one.
So we were going to have you on to showcase
cool.
some of that, as well as just like sit down to fucking hang out with you.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to do it legit. Well, because their big problem is that we couldn't find a comfortable space to even have people come
Exactly.
and record it.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and then that took forever. And then we found Kenosha, and Jeff Bass has been very lovely. Very lovely.
Hey,
sits behind the camera.
Take the compliment, you sweetheart.
But it's pretty prudent to actually have video when we're showing off tie-dye. It's not going to work out an audio podcast.
Yeah.
So here we are. So would you like to go through? I know you brought some things.
Sure.
You want to show some of
Yeah,
this?
I can. Here, I'm going to move this.
Now, do you have before we go, do you have a name for...
Okay. I guess.
Or is it like if people wanted to find you, is it just Andrew Liu on Instagram, or do you have...
or like the Instagram handle is little Bubba _tie-dye. It's just kind of what I came up with. My dad
Tell the story.
My dad a long time ago in Kenosha downtown here, he owned a restaurant and it was called Bubba's Breakfast Club. I was supposed to be Bubba, like that was going to be my nickname. There was like this sign. I should have brought the card I have, and it was this drawing of me in a sombrero holding, and it wasn't Mexican food, but I had a sombrero on. And I had like this wooden spoon, and that was the sign. But my dad ended up becoming Bubba because he was the chef and he cooked, and it was a lot like Frank's Diner style, in a way where you can see the cooks, everything is kind of out in the open. That's kind of how that spot is. But everybody always called me Little Bubba. And so when this whole thing, the tie-dyeing was going on, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll make it a business or something. That's like, that's kind of where my mind went back to, was my dad and the restaurant. And I was like, well, that's what I'm gonna call myself.
That's cute.
Yeah, it's just kind of stuck too. Yeah,
I think that's a good name. Little Bubba Tie-Dye is genuinely a good name.
Especially for tie-dye.
Especially for tie-dye.
Right.
Bubba. Oh, you got a little Bubba.
I got a little Bubba.
You got a Bubba.
Here, I'm gonna show you guys. I got some shirts for you as well.
Yeah, we can show those with these.
And I got the other ones. So here, I'll get out these two. These are for you.
Shit. Thank you.
Oh my God.
They're probably both like slightly different.
At that.
So you can duke it out as to who gets which one.
I'll choke Jarod
That's
out.
the one I got on too.
Whoa, here, show.
Because I saw on your Instagram, you doing like a video. Like I saw a picture of like all the stuff wrapped up in. Was that mine? Oh, so all the stuff wrapped up in like rubber bands and stuff, and I was like, oh, this guy actually does tie dye.
Right?
Like,
yeah.
These look great.
I want this one.
These look great.
Thank you.
I like with the purple.
Well, I like that.
This is so cool because there's like literally every. Like you want to just put like a few certain light colors in them usually, so otherwise it like doesn't mix well. But like you're really good at. What I like about your tie dye is the ones you made for me for Christmas. Like I like that you're able to mix colors that don't really always seem to work together, and they fucking work. Like side by side, and it doesn't look fucked up or anything.
Energy to it.
Well, thank you.
I really like this.
And I'll be honest, it's not like I just kind of I just put the dye on, I don't do anything like real special. It's weird to me being called an artist of like sorts. Like the first person that ever called me that, I was shocked. I was like, well, I guess I've been called worse. So it's, it's not the worst thing I've been called, but it was, and that was, cause it's been about a year now. Cause I started when I was at Panera, and that was kind of the cool thing about that place, is because I just always wore the shirts there. And we had that other shirt we had to wear too, but people always saw it. And that's kind of how I knew that I was getting kind of good at it, because that's where I started making stuff for people, or where I started getting a lot of feedback was working there too. So I always kind of like that, wear the new gear and see what everybody's got to say, and
wear the new gear.
Can I show the reverse one? Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Andrew,
I did a second shirt for these guys.
This thing look at that. It got over bleached, so there's holes in it. But I personally think that's badass
along the edge here.
But you were telling us the black
works.
is supposed to be more prominent, the lines in between, because it looks.
Yeah, right. and I think I probably I haven't done a lot of reverse tie-dye stuff, just because.
This is the coolest fucking thing I've seen.
Thanks.
I fucking love this thing. And it's
I'm
genuinely I know you were worried about the holes, but I'm wearing this.
That's why I brought them, because I was like, these guys, they might think it's cool.
I think it's badass.
I like how it's like mirror. Like on the sleeve is when it kind of like splits onto the other mirror.
And I think I just left the bleach on too long, and it just, some of the holes were there, some like the fabric, as I was kind of wringing it out, like washing it and everything, I was it started ripping.
I like this because this feels like a good representation of being you, and especially this podcast to a degree, because this is like a perfect example of like a really grungy hippie shirt, but like, you know, this is where we are on good days when we're not trying to rip off each other, right? In this green part, we're right there. And then every episodes 1 through all of them is in the black.
No, it's more like this side is our music, this is our podcast.
This is right. This is great though. I love this thing.
Thank
this
you.
Is beautiful. Thank you, Andrew. I really
awesome.
No, you're welcome. I'm really happy that you like them.
both of them.
You know, and that's like I swear I give away more than I sell.
Yeah,
and you know, and I'm okay with that. I just, you know, when I started doing it, the pandemic was happening. I guess it's still like technically happening.
Yeah.
Allegedly,
really,
COVID is still going on.
A lot of people who like, I mean, I was talking to you about a band who wants to buy tie-dye from you. And
right.
It's like, they weren't going to do that in 2019. They were going to do that in 2020, you know?
Exactly. You know, and when George Floyd had just happened too, all that had just went down. And
people weren't thinking about tie-dye at that time.
Right.
Didn't think about
different energy going on.
You know, and I was just I was so sad too, because I mean, like we took it all really seriously. We stayed home. We canceled all the summer trips. I mean, we went out for walks and bicycle rides and whatnot.
Yeah.
But
is that when you and your family?
Yeah. You know, and it sucked. And we didn't know when COVID was going to go away. Then George Floyd happened, and then it just looked like the whole country was burning down. And and I went into my closet to get a t-shirt, and it was just all black, because that's, you know, I just have all black t-shirts and gray. And I was like, you know, I'm sick of this. I want color. And so I went to the far other extreme and just started dyeing everything. And and it's and that's how I am. I can get super obsessive, and it was something that I wanted to try once with my girlfriend and my daughter, and mine didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to. And so then I tried again, and then I just kept trying and I kept trying new things, you know, and it just started looking good. And I guess that's really how I got into it. I mean, I still have all my black t-shirts. I still wear them. But yeah, I felt like the clothes I had reflected how I felt on the inside, and I just didn't want to feel that way. I didn't want all this darkness and this fucking uncertainty of the pandemic, and you know, and it's just, I just didn't know how to feel in that moment. And so like coloring my t-shirts made sense. That's what I did.
It does.
No, it does make. I mean,
that's beautiful.
Do you find, as you're getting better at doing tie-dye, do you find that maybe some of the shirts that you create are becoming more expressive pieces, or do you think that they're more like you're trying to sell them?
You know, it's funny that you say that, because I was wondering, like, is there a way, can I express stuff through the t-shirts? I guess I try to express love, you know, right. and like enjoy, because I really enjoy doing it. And it really makes me, I find a lot of joy when I can give them to people and they really genuinely like them. And I feel like that's why I don't like to sell them. Because it's like, man, fuck the money. You know, it's like, if you like it and you want to wear it, and I had fun doing it, but I guess it's not free. Right. It definitely costs money to make them. But I don't know, like, if I'm trying to express world peace, I don't know how I would convey that through. Maybe I'd make a peace sign on the t-shirt. I don't know. But I definitely know what I do try to express through it is just love, you know, and I guess that's what I'm hoping that I can spread.
There was a shirt you did that I'm probably going to message you about because I want to buy it. I don't know if you have it anymore, but I want another one. And it was a black shirt. Okay. That was bleached. And it was like bleached tie-dye. It was really weird. I don't know. I can't remember. It was more.
Yeah, I remember the.
You remember that? Yeah.
I remember the one. I don't know if
it was
you
like,
did. Yeah. I thought you messaged him.
White looked like lightning, kind of like going through it, and it was so.
Oh, I think I know the shirt you're talking about.
Love that shirt, and I just liked it. I was like, this is to me what I liked about it. I don't. I mean, yeah, I got a Grateful Dead fucking shirt on. I don't. I don't think I've ever worn tie dye before in my life.
Right.
Not one time.
we've had
entire
like
life.
2 whole episodes where like most of the episode we talked about fashion and how like
Yeah.
a lot of you always say you love wearing black.
I
like,
love wearing black.
you
This
still do. I mean, like,
this is an outlier for me. But like, no, that's not me saying I won't wear tie dye. You've given me something very kind. I'm going to wear this. But I remember seeing that shirt specifically, and I was like, this is different. This is expressing something else.
Right.
It's like, because it was a way. It like was the same, like chaotic nature of tie dye, but the colors, it was just black and white, and it had such a unique and kind of like dark energy to it. I loved it. It was such a cool shirt, but I don't know. I just think of like, that stood out to me.
Mhm.
I remember that shirt is so stuck in my head, and that one really like, you're like, I want to express love with it. It's like, well, here, like, how do you express? You have like 2 colors, you got black and white. It's like, how do you do that with this? What's the end product? And what does it mean to somebody else who looks at it?
Yeah, and I do know the shirt you're talking about. I have that shirt. I made that for myself, and I didn't like it.
Really?
I like it, but it was way darker than it was supposed to be. And if you look at that shirt in the right light, you can actually see some blues and reds and green. But yeah, the black really did. I put way too much in. But that's the funny thing, is how subjective that it is. And I think I'm my own worst critic, I was telling you guys right before we started how, like, I'll make people t-shirts and they think they're flawless. And I'm like, well, let me tell you every little thing that went wrong with it, or that is wrong with it. But, yeah, that's cool though, man. I could definitely do one of those for you. Those are actually pretty easy to do.
I love that. When I saw that, when you posted the picture,
It is, because it's all kind of like everywhere. Like,
yeah.
and did you use the ice technique on that one?
I didn't.
Okay, I couldn't remember if it was.
But I had,
lightning.
and I feel like I know, and I have one of those. I brought little, things to show, like little demonstrations. But I had this problem for a while, and I think, so like the process of doing it all, I feel like you don't have to do any of this. Like, you could just get the t-shirt wet and have fun with it. You know what I mean? Like, it can be as simple as you want. But the thing that I started noticing, the more and more that I was doing it, the more videos I was watching and reading about, like, dyeing all these shirts, it seemed like the people that were doing them consistently well all took the same steps. And one of them was they had this, it's called Centropol, and it's something you wash the shirts out with. It's like a blow foaming textile detergent. They'll do it before they dye the shirt and after. And so I started, I don't even know how I got on this, like, where I don't even know where I was going with all this.
I mentioned the ice technique, and you kind of going over.
Yeah, and so, I wasn't.
I don't know how tight it works.
Yeah,
I don't even know.
so this is how it works, and then I'll get back to what you were saying. Sorry. But you wash it out with that first, and that's basically to get any like debris or maybe wood or whatever like might be on the shirt, because that might stop a certain section from getting dye or accepting the dye. Then you soak it in soda ash for like 20 to 30 minutes, and the soda ash basically, it gets into all the fibers of the shirt, and then it will help the dye basically travel to where it's gonna live.
What is soda
rest of its
ash?
life.
What soda? Yeah, what is that?
I knew you were gonna ask,
Yeah, 'cause
and
I
I
have no
knew that
idea.
I should have looked it up. I don't know. It's sodium. It's some kind of salt. It's not. It will dry your hands out if you don't wear gloves. Oh my god, it will make your hands so dry.
Yeah.
Does it hurt?
No, it doesn't hurt. I guess it probably could. The last time, because like when I first started to, I didn't really wear gloves. I was like, oh, I don't care. I got blue on my hand right now. My girlfriend was trying to wash my hands before I left, so I didn't have blue on the camera. But I used to not wear gloves. I didn't care, like whatever. But then my hands started getting really dry and they'd peel, or I started realizing that my hands would be clean, but they would have like a bunch of blue or purple dye. And, you know, if you're sitting there, it just looks like I've got nasty fucking fingers and shit underneath the nails.
Bruises
like,
or something.
I better start wearing gloves. But anyways, you soak the stuff in the soda ash. I'm not totally sure what the solution is, but some kind of sodium, and it helps the shirt so that the dye will travel through and get to all like whatever fibers and make it look nice in the end, nicer. I wasn't wringing the shirts out, and the problem I had with the new house that I live in is I got all these really nice, I got a nice new washer dryer, you know, all the buttons, and it fucking sings to you when it's done washing your clothes, and it's cool. Like I've never had, I think it's Samsung or something. I've never had a nice thing like that. But I miss my old one with the knob that cranked when you turn it, you know, because you could use that and you could put it on spin, and then it would spin all, so then you're not sitting there like wringing everything out, dude. Yeah, it's like, I guess it's not super strenuous, but God, if you're doing 8 t-shirts and you're just trying to wring all this crap out of it, it sucks. It's like, it's not fun anymore, you know. You're like, fuck my friends, I don't want them to have these cool shirts, but
fuck Christmas.
Yeah, exactly.
Is knowing tie-dye make really easy for gift giving?
It could be.
You told me that it is.
Yeah, if you keep it simple, yeah, definitely. Like doing like these X patterns, and with like the more, like, because you can get really intricate with it,
right?
And then it'll start taking forever to just do, excuse me, one T-shirt. But which design that do you have down that takes the longest right now? The X. Well, this one actually, the X pattern. And it's really easy to fold, but the way that you lay the dye into it, it's like you're almost doing little pieces. Like instead of dyeing strips, you're dyeing a little square, and then it's all sort of, how you can see, it's all sorts of different colors kind of compiled together. So this one actually, folding it isn't too bad, but getting the actual dye in it and getting everything set, man, I remember when I did these shirts last weekend. I feel like they took forever to do. I'm like, I'm gonna dye some stuff. I'll be down there a couple hours, and like 4 or 5 hours later, it's like, damn, man, like the whole day. I didn't realize I was gonna be down there the whole day doing this. But it can take a while. It depends on how intricate you want to get. If you want to do like a spiral or something like that, there's super easy patterns that they don't take a long time to fold, and, you know, throw the dye on it and let it chill for a while. But that's what you do afterwards too. You let it sit for like a whole day.
What's the ice thing? He said, what's the ice thing?
So
it's my favorite thing.
It's here, and I brought a T-shirt too, and it's a technique. I did this one for the show.
Whoa.
Holy shit. Yeah.
That's like, sorry. That's like,
I'm sorry that it's wrinkly.
Like a planet. It's
oh
like
my
really
God.
Cosmic.
It looks like one of those, like, those AI generator dream things. Have you seen those on like TikTok?
Yes,
right.
That's what it fucking looks like. That's so sick.
Thing.
But you basically,
oh my fucking God.
That's badass.
Yeah, other people say it's like a marbling kind of technique. Yeah. And you basically, you get the shirt wet and you crumple it all up, and I've been seeing it now 2 different ways. Before I used to put the actual powder dye solution on the shirt and put the ice on top. But I've been seeing people more so now recently, like on Reddit, on the tie-dye subreddit, they all put the ice on the top of the the dye on the top of the ice, and then kind of let it melt through.
Right.
But that's what happens is basically the dye and the water from the ice, they all kind of melt through the shirt, and you make a bunch of cool stuff.
Is it a lot of ice?
It can be as much as you want.
You kind of place them on the crumpled shirt.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people on videos use like a whole crap load of ice. I mean, I think I've done a little. I've done so much that it could actually fill up the container underneath, because I took a T-shirt. I was actually going to wear it today, but I didn't. But I took a white T-shirt, and the water that all drained off underneath, I put a T-shirt in that like black mucky water to see what would happen, and it actually turned out kind of cool. And it's like it's darker. It's like a bunch of darker greens and blues. But I was like, maybe I could get another T-shirt off the runoff from this ice tie-dye T-shirt.
Interesting. That's smart.
Do you think
so smart.
Do you think you could, like, in the wintertime collect like icicles and like try with that?
Yeah,
and,
sure.
Like, see since it's longer,
the shape
of an icicle,
maybe
get you something else.
Like it might just be like more of a line down.
And I mean, there's
move your microphone.
Oh.
Tilt it into you.
Yeah.
like this.
Turn it like this more. Other way.
There you go.
Yeah, perfect.
Good.
Perfect.
Yes.
Thanks.
So that's the second shirt that I did for the show. The first one I tried, I used way too much red, and it looked like somebody was all bloody in it. So I didn't want to bring it. It looked ridiculous. And I started it so you can do the ice, but on an incline, so your surface would be just kind of elevated. And it would be that same kind of marble design, but kind of streaked down.
Oh.
I didn't realize through the process of doing that shirt that, well, I didn't bring it, but the shirt started to move itself, and it was going to fall right into the bucket of all this water. And it was God, it was such a mess, man. You should see my basement sometimes when I'm done. It's just like, I get so, like, I really like doing it. But then by the end of dyeing everything I'm doing in that particular session, I'm like, I'm done. And there's just, dye and crap everywhere. And my feet get wet too. I don't know why. My feet are always wet when I'm doing tie-dye. I think I had to run back and forth from the sink so much that, my feet are just
and things you're probably
wet.
dripping a little bit.
Yeah.
So the tie
Feet are always wet. Bullshit.
the tie-dye table that you use that's in your basement.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like it's such a cool. In my head, it's like a symbol of like kind of how I feel about what you do.
Yeah.
Because it's like a little workstation, and on the posts of the table you had people sign it. Like people have drawn things on it. They'll come up and do it. Like I just feel like that's you say like you don't like always having to sell your stuff because you like just giving them to people.
Right.
And like I wonder if you've been like that with a lot of things in your life.
I think so. I mean, I really...
What, are you his therapist? What the fuck?
Yeah, no, I was trying to ask about his friends. His life.
I like to share,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I've always kind of been like that, if I have it, I don't mind sharing. I definitely don't like being taken advantage of,
right?
Mm-hmm. And I guess if that boundary gets crossed, then it's like, okay, man, I'm not sharing with you anymore. Sorry.
You're good. It takes time.
Yeah.
I'm not used to the microphone.
No, but yeah.
I feel like I try to shy away from it too.
Right.
Like I shouldn't be behind it or in front of it, whatever.
So tie-dye was just something you kind of just picked up in the pandemic.
Yeah.
Is there, I don't know what I was gonna say.
Fuck.
I totally forgot myself.
No, I was gonna say like I wanted to like go into like what you did to like express yourself before you found tie-dye to kind of just something to do, like because I know like you're how old are you again?
33.
33.
Just turned 33.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're a lot older than us, and you had a lot of life.
Yeah.
10-year diff.
But that's just like I want to know like what you did before you did tie-dye.
I mean, I don't feel like I was ever really that creative of a person. I feel like this is the first actual hobby that I have, and it feels so good to have it. Like, and I'm just like telling everybody how important it is to have a hobby, or I think it's
right.
I realize how cool it is to have something that's your thing that you do. I mean,
a lot of people's hobbies just like sitting and watching TV.
yeah. I mean, I'm really good at that too, and it's like, and it's terrible. I love watching TV, but man, I can watch some TV.
But like I understand where people like TV, but or just like watching Hulu or Netflix or whatever, right? But it's not anywhere near as interactive as you're doing tie-dye.
Yeah.
We do music. We have this podcast.
Right.
We know people who are like really into like skateboarding.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, they really are into it, and it's like those things are all better than just watching TV. But sometimes like TV, that's it for a lot of people.
Oh,
the
yeah.
ball ends at TV, and it's just like. It's funny you're saying like I tell people how good it is to have a hobby. It's like it's not even just good. It's like for me like it's a have to.
Yeah.
There's not a choice. There's not a choice. Like
unless you go crazy.
When I wasn't doing like
yourself.
quote unquote hobby like things, I was not in a good place all the time.
Mm.
That's what more that was. Like if I didn't have my place to direct my energy, it was way more external in a negative way. Like, yeah, can this podcast be negative from time to time? Yes, that's half the sell. I mean, that's half the sell. But I mean, people on like a personal level. On this podcast, we'll say ridiculous things, but I mean, like, you know, in high school, just being like mean to people.
Sure.
Like, genuinely, I had a big problem
Was
with
that a hobby?
Being mean. Became I was good at it.
It became your job.
It became my job.
It became your role with the kingdom.
Yeah, literally. Every school needs like the mean kid. I was.
You seem like you're really good at asserting yourself.
At one point, I wasn't.
Yeah.
Actually, when I was my meanest is when I was worse at it. When I was bad.
Really?
Yeah. And then I think it's like it's totally that argument of like that inner conflict becomes external projection. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To a T. I mean, that's
Obviously.
what that was. And then, and it was like. I mean, I did like, I was okay. I mean, I cheated on everything in high school. I didn't have, I had zero academic integrity. I was a pro at taking pictures of the like keys, you know, like the answer keys for tests. And I just fucking.
You see, I didn't have that when I was in high school. I had a cell phone, but there was no camera on it.
Right.
You couldn't take pictures of that. That's cool. That's cool.
Your screen was like an inch tall.
Cheating your way through high school.
Well, I was like, I looked around. I was good friends with the valedictorian at my in high school, and he cheated as well. I probably shouldn't say that.
No, you should.
Oh
because
yeah, they don't. No one knows who that is.
Yeah,
exactly.
He's gonna go beat. It'll look bad on this record later. It's not a big deal. He'll make his money when it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
No one's gonna hear this, but at least relevant to him. But he cheated on everything. He was the valedictorian. I'm like, well, I mean, that's when I really started feeling like this country was built on lying and stealing.
Right.
I should just join the club. Right? Because like, here's the guy who's going to end up making a speech in front of the graduating class and all their families about how honest and hardworking this school is, and if you wouldn't hear, you're one of the.
And if you put your mind to it like I did, you can,
And in the background,
you can do it.
Knowing him, it's like, no, if you cheat as good as he did, you can accomplish anything.
Yeah.
And I just was like that.
It's rough.
It was, that negativity that was with that. I didn't have, I didn't pick up the guitar until I was 15. I joined the band when I was 16.
Okay.
And then I wasn't really committed to that until later. And eventually, I think more around when I was 18 is when my energy was more positively going into that, and then becoming obsessed with doing music.
Right.
Genuinely obsessed with doing music. Because I have a very, very addictive personality. I had to be very careful because, I mean, it's hit the ground running all the time. Yeah. It's just a problem because, like, I was in clubs in high school, and, like, the thing is, like, those clubs I became obsessed with in such a bad way. I mean, like, I made one of the clubs bankrupt, and I thought it was hilarious. I mean, I thought it was, dude, we blew like $1,900, and I was
On what?
dude, on bullshit. I would just like kept like, they're like, we need this, and I just kept like hitting the check mark, and I was like, no big deal. We bankrupt. Like my advisor came up to me like, we have no money. Like, you have run this club into zero. Like, you have to do fundraising. I'd be like, I don't know, man. And I was the president. Like, I was the person who had to do it.
You were the president of this club, and you fucking
club. And then, like, even when like elections came, they're like, you need to hold elections so we know who's going to be running the club next year. I was like, I don't want to step down. And it was my senior year. I was like, I don't really want to step down.
So they just didn't elect somebody, and you just left high school.
I just left. I said, I don't really give a fuck.
I feel like if after Trump we were just like, let's just not do another one.
Yeah,
That'd be like, let's just stop it here.
Yeah, because really what I was saying, I was like, listen,
We're not gonna get any better than
no
me.
money. The leadership around here is horrible.
The club is over.
It's done.
The club is over.
No, the attendees by the end of it, you know what's really strange though? Our chapter won like the chapter excellence award at like state. So we still did wonderful. And that was not because of me, that was because of somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
But I still got a medal for it. And fuck these people.
You still have that medal. But yeah, what you picked up.
You're not gonna let anything stand in your way.
No.
But you know, I could see that about you guys though. I mean, and I remember when you told me that you guys were gonna do this podcast, and it was you were like, yeah, my friend that I make music with, I think we're gonna make this podcast, and but I could tell in that moment that you were like, this is what the deal is. Right. Like, we're making music, we're gonna do this podcast, eventually we're gonna fucking travel around the world. And I was like, all right, dude, like, cool. Yeah. You know, and now you guys are doing it. And it's been really inspiring to me too. And I mean, kind of just keeping up with the t-shirts and everything, because just watching you guys and where you started and where you came from, it's kind of kept me going too, you know?
We should make a blood oath. Yeah. That as long as we still do this podcast, you have to keep doing the t-shirts.
You know what's messed up is I've never got to do that. Like, I used to watch movies.
A blood oath?
Yeah, you know, or like the kids, they prick their finger and I've always wanted to do that.
Or cut their hand and then fucking shake on it.
We should do that.
We could try that.
We get like a big blade.
Before we
we have to go get stitches. Like, we have to really.
Or we'll just use like a jagged key that I have and just make it really fun. Just like, but no, I say that because like, people who are trying to inspire others can inspire people back. Like, right. Like when I see your posts on Instagram, I'm like genuinely like excited about life and about like that people are. I'm reminded that people are doing shit. Yeah. In the way that you're doing it, because I know how you do it, and I've seen you do it since the same time that you saw me start the podcast. So it's like. Same wavelength for a long.
Well, I'm glad you get excited about the posts. I always moan and groan about going on social media.
You're 33 years old.
Yeah, I know, right?
Your brain's already formed.
I'm like, man, every time I get on, or I'm always wondering, like, I don't know how to do this. I always forget that when I post, that I could put it on my story too, that little circle at the top, you know, you click on that thing. Yeah. I always forget till later on, like, oh crap, I should put that on my story. I know. Yeah, we do. I remember when I see you, when I see you guys do it, that's when I remember. Yeah, I hate social media, but it's like, I try to get the buzz out there, you know, but it's, I don't know, that's one of the parts. Like, I try to be active, because then I'm like, well, maybe more people will message me, and it's, I don't know.
Well, your thing is definitely going to be a physical sell,
right?
You know what I mean? Like, you're hopefully, like, maybe with the few things that we do, there's a few people that maybe we can introduce you to that are like in the same boat as you.
Definitely, sure.
And there's a lot, actually. Yeah,
like a lot
like of people.
At least
they're just trying to make this little community of
15,
people
20
doing a similar thing, not tie dye, but just arts, crafts,
just like community of arts that's from like in just kind of in the state, at least I know of.
Yeah, hopefully, I mean, you can get to a point where you can, you know, maybe next summer set up a shop at like the Harbor Market, right? Like that. That'd be badass.
And that would be badass. It'd be fun, you know. And I think about doing stuff like that, and I'm kind of lazy, because with all the shirts that I have, more or less, I wait until somebody says, hey, I want these colors and this kind of design, and then I do it. Right. And I know that there's certain things that would probably require me to make a bunch of shirts in bulk. And just the thought of that is like, man, no, it's going to take so long.
Right.
You think of it in that giant quantity, right?
Right.
Yeah, because because we know a few people who throw music festivals around, not just here, that want more vendors at their things. So it's like,
they want people to come out who are doing something cool.
We can see what happens.
It would be fun. We want to
healthy networking.
Someday we want to have all the guests we've had, you know, have built like a kind of community,
right?
Yeah,
of that, and we're already kind of connecting people.
Well, we're having more music guests, and I guess we can talk about it on this, but what we'd like, and why you're kind of important in being here, is because we would like you to be a vendor, because at one point we want to do a Tipped and Stiff Podcast Day Festival, where we have a lot of the music acts perform, and we have the people that we had on who make stuff do vending, and we even have a food truck that follow us, 911 Tacos, that likes
OG.
us.
Yeah,
we've been around for a while. That like we communicate.
I've
with them
seen
to
that
come.
truck.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so good.
Is it?
It's so fucking good.
I probably heard you guys talk about that.
We did a whole
taco
bit.
truck,
We did a whole
too.
ad.
whole
fake
fake
ad.
advertisement, and they like reached out to us on Instagram. It was hilarious.
Really?
Yes, they
Oh,
got
that's
notified
cool.
about it.
It was so funny too, because you were like taco joint. It was just fucking wild.
I don't know. I would love to see the community grow, especially like this podcast grow in that way, and then start making, it bigger. Because, as we get more traction, then there's more, it's financially more compensating. It's, it's the bigger the outreach, it's like, I feel the more wholesome I will feel about it.
Sure.
Because it's like,
Also less insane about it.
less insane.
Like I feel like if we have the support of more people, because we've actually made like the connection to them, it's not like we're just grinding everything on our own all the time.
Sure.
Because right now it's like just everybody who's in this building at the moment, and then like off
Right.
on the side it's like me and Cade just like doing shit on our phones or our computers for it,
Right. It's like spending hours on doing like media,
which is
marketing
awesome.
shit.
Right.
Still, which is still
No, it's
like
great.
fucking like that's what you have to do. But like
But like if we had 1,000
Emotional
followers, where when we post
Yeah.
something, people like
That'd be
post it on
cool.
their story, and you can start getting to this point where like other people help you. It's
Mhm.
right.
it's like it's just like you're just waiting for, to get over one little hill that will make getting over the second bigger hill a little easier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like it's a grind. We're in grind time. This is.
I think it's
balls to
really
the
cool,
wall time.
man. You
Mhm.
guys, what you're doing, I really do. And how involved you are in the community.
We're trying.
This stuff is
Trying to be more, yeah. This is our way of trying to do it, because we don't go to a school where like they have like a trash pickup, or they're like going to like help people sign up for voting or some shit like that.
right.
And I don't really want to do any of that shit anyway, so I think it's fun to just sit down and talk to people that you're giving people gifts. You know,
Yeah.
you're like Santa Claus, and like all these other people are making music, and that's a gift.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's going on with you guys in the music?
What's going on with it? Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I showed you some of the
You
old stuff,
did?
and
I
I'm
heard-
probably not using any of the things that I showed you.
Oh, really?
this
Yeah.
is also true.
But like we've been writing a lot. We're actually pretty close.
I have 4 songs that
we think we each have 4.
one is done. I literally might cut a thing from it, but one is done. The second one needs vocals. Another one needs vocals, maybe a little touch up, and then one needs like more instrumentation, a lot more work that needs to go into it. And then once I have like all 4 of those things, I can finally go back through and just be like, I'm gonna change a little bit here, change a little bit here, and then we'll send it out to the we're gonna find someone to mix and produce it. We don't want to do, I'm not the best mixer, or the producer I should say. I can write the music, I can get like the sounds and stuff I want, and I can play instruments. But when it comes to like producing shit, it gets really difficult. Like that's like people go to school for that shit, and it's like, yeah, you could sit at home, and I've gotten better, and I think maybe for this next album, I'm even thinking about using a different DAW in some of the things, because we used to use Ableton and we're using FL Studio, and sometimes I just really I miss using Ableton, because there's just some things with FL Studio that are just kind of dumb. Like those are DAWs with their music making software. So like it's when you open it up, you have like where you can put all your audio and stuff, and it moves from left to right, and you can visually see all the tracks and stuff playing. But each DAW, there's tons of them. There's like there's FL Studio, there's Ableton, there's Logic, there's even GarageBand. There's a bunch of them, and
Audacity,
which is like the free one. They all have like their things about them, and FL Studio is a bit clunky in some parts. Ableton is, I kind of miss using Ableton. It's a lot more professional, and a lot of people don't like the way it looks, but I actually like the way it looks.
it's the weirdest looking one.
Yeah, it looks really strange. It looks like an Excel spreadsheet, but I like it. But I don't know. It just look. We got a lot of shit coming. We haven't announced what even the name of it is, and we don't want to. We've only talked to people in private about it, because we're trying to do everything right. We have people who are experienced making music videos that we're gonna do a music video with.
Oh wow.
Their shit is good. I mean, you fucking watch it and you go, this is an A24 film. I mean, they're very good. We're gonna work with them. We're like, with the music is what? It's October what?
10th.
We could have it done by the end of the month.
We probably will.
We busted our ass.
Will.
So,
we probably will because we're getting that mic soon.
Right. So here we are. We're damn near done. Then it's just finding the right producer to mix it, paying them.
Okay.
You know, money's important. We got to pay them.
Yeah.
You want something done. You get what you pay for, as they say.
Sure.
Then we have to set up our marketing strategy. So like, people don't think of that side of things. We have to like set up a plan of like, okay, when are we going to release the single and with the music video? Huh?
I get to stare at social media all day and analyze the what day do we post the album cover? What day do we post the track list?
No.
What day do we post the
and
the
what
single?
times do we do it? And what hashtags do we use?
Wow.
And also what
also
if
like
we need
really
our
not that
songs to
hard.
get on playlists, who do we need to reach out to? Okay, we need to find independent art magazines that need more people to write about. So let's submit our art to them so they can write pieces on us. Shit like that. Because so there's just people who want to write about you, but no one's asking them to.
Sure.
But you have to go find them. You have to use Reddit. You have to use forums, Instagram. Like, you have to go. We want to find every outlet. Then we have to make the advertisements for Facebook and Instagram to actually bring people in. So like, we have to cut up the music video to fit in a minute advertisement, and then we have to put like $1,000 towards advertising over like the span of a month to get people into listening to listening to the music. So like, I'm glad we have the podcast kind of getting in a really good direction, and we're fucking here. So it's a damn.
That sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
It's not in one night though. Like it's gonna be spread over weeks, and like we're gonna. Like, we already kind of know how to do all that stuff because we've been doing a lot of it while trying to get this podcast off the ground.
Right.
So,
yeah, what we're hoping for is that the amount of work and energy that we put into this album will start generating more people coming to the podcast. And hopefully from both of them, we'll start seeing more of a genuine revenue stream, which then it's like, revenue, we can start.
We have more options then. We have more options where we can put our work and our content.
Right.
Right. And it's like, everyone wants to make money with the thing that they like to do. So I know we're in the same boat as that.
And we want to have, we want to have music so we can fucking play a show for the first time in like a year.
Which like
That's
we're gonna
what I'm
have
excited about.
Which we're gonna have to play at like colleges and stuff like that, because
MGMT did it.
We're not gonna be able to play at 58 Below. We're not gonna be able to play at fucking.
You don't think they'll let you in there?
We shouldn't play.
We shouldn't play at 58. Like here's the thing. Like, you're right. They shouldn't let us.
Yeah,
they're nice.
Right,
they're great
enough.
people who run that place. But like, they don't want us. They're not gonna pull anybody from our shit.
No.
Their crowd's not gonna come and be like. They're not going to listen to that one track. Like they're
going to be pissed when they see it.
They're going to be like, "Who are these? You're gonna be in your."
My whole get up. We'll talk about it after the podcast, but we have a lot of plans with like the names, what we're gonna look like, the whole like idea behind it.
What's cool, man.
But they're not gonna like it there. They're not gonna
honestly
like it
if
at
they're
George's Tavern.
There's plenty of drunks.
Right.
There's plenty of drunks who'd be like, "This is fucking trippy." Like,
we're just like, they're like, "How do you want this mixed?" They're like, "Well, it's just coming out of a laptop. It's already mixed.
All you need is you're like the speakers and the microphone I'm using.
You just need to mix it for the room." And they're like, "Okay." And they're like, "Is there anything specific you want?" I'm like, "Yeah, just take the bass knob and just go all the way. Just roll it. I want the 808s to shake this place and down."
Oh, yeah.
So can I ask you what happened to your hair?
I cut it.
But is there a story?
Is there a story? No, not really. I just wanted to not like a piercing story. Like the piercing story was ridiculous.
That was hilarious.
That was hilarious.
Somebody said that. You deserved it.
I did because I chose the place that they fucked me.
They really did.
Because it got brought up last night. We were out downtown and somebody asked me like, "Jarod, like how much was that piercing? I want to like get a piercing." I was like, "This was free." They were like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, they stabbed me in the face, and then they fucked me up, and they gave it to me for free, so I wouldn't sue him.
Dude, everybody
Still gonna
told
sue
that
him.
story told. They're like, dude, you can sue them. Like
I know.
they fucked up.
I don't have time to sue somebody.
I don't have time for that.
No, I'm not saying you should, but like that's how much they were like shitting their pants.
Yeah.
That they knew they were waiting
what
for
it
the
seemed
lawyer to
like.
bust down the door. They could have gotten arrested. They just arrest them
They should all be arrested, not even because of that, but they just
in general.
all this stuff on their walls. You know, it was all like
Fuck
like it was ridiculous.
Oh, because it was all like the comics, right?
It was comic
Or
stuff. Like you can be into comics in DC. I support all that.
Are you
but
into
like
comics at DC?
No, not really.
See,
I like Batman.
I like Batman.
you gotta like.
But you're not into Marvel movies? Are you into that stuff?
No, not really.
That's good for you.
You know, we have a
Like
friend.
genuinely, I'm not even like
Thanks.
That's healthy.
I was like cringing, like, oh man, here we go. We get to talk about Endgame or whatever, you know.
Fuck that.
Funny, we have a friend who told us late 2019, right before the decade was over. We had just seen like Uncut Gems in theater. It was December,
Right.
and he goes,
greatest years for movies.
one of the greatest years for movies, and one of the greatest ones, Uncut Gems. And this friend goes, yeah, I think Endgame's the movie of the decade, of the 2010s. I wanted to kill him.
So stupid. It is so remarkably dumb.
We were sitting in an Applebee's, and he fucking dropped that on us.
He said the Endgame was movie of the decade. Oh my god. I mean, like, okay, that year alone, we're not going to name them all, but because we've done it like 7 different times in this podcast.
And I saw a video where they named all like a whole bunch of other ones that we didn't even list. We listed like the 5 or 6 that we saw, but like there was like 6 or 7 more that I forgot about completely because 2019 was so long. There were so many.
And now,
weird
what
shit
was the
in there.
one you had just mentioned?
Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems.
You ever seen that? That's the Adam Sandler movie.
Oh, okay.
Where he's the pawn shop owner.
And I have not seen that movie, but I do know what you're talking about.
He's the jeweler. The jeweler. The Iceman.
Have pawn
Iceman.
shop have jeweler. It's not. It's just jewelry.
Yeah, it's like
right.
pawn jewelries too. Jewelries? Jewels.
Jewels.
Jewelries.
Jewelry. I know what you were trying,
I know.
and I was agreeing because it felt right.
That movie, people shit on that movie a lot, and like I get it because it is kind of goofy watching Adam Sandler do that.
Isn't it based on true events?
It's like a real kind of place. I don't know if it's like a real person, but it's based off of real people.
Dude, that part in the movie
generally.
where he's hiding in the closet and his girl like switches into lingerie and he runs out. He's like, I'm gonna come. It's so weird. And it's like him.
No, he's like, are you wet right now?
Yeah, no, but he runs out. That's what he says when he runs out of the closet.
He says, I'm gonna fucking come.
Yes,
That's terrifying.
It's fucking hilarious. He's like, oh my god.
And in the car, he wins big, and he goes, oh my god, I'm gonna fucking come. I'm gonna fucking come. Like that was a meme.
I love it. That movie's
so
amazing.
Everybody's a good actor in that movie too.
Yeah.
So
You should watch it because it's like fucking.
Watch it.
You'll like some like the weird psychological shit about it.
Okay.
I feel like.
Yeah, I've never been into the superhero movies, the Avengers, and all that. I had a brief period where I was like, everybody else is, so maybe I should too.
Oh yeah.
And
Insane.
I think I asked a couple people, what do I got to do to get caught up? And the laundry list of movies in the order that I was supposed to watch them in, I said, yeah, I don't.
Makes you want to put your head in the
Yeah.
oven.
Fuck these
Like,
people.
yeah, I know. Screw this. Like, Guardians of the Galaxy was cool.
Right.
But now it's all mixed in with this other stuff, and apparently I'm not going to understand it. Like, the later movies, if I don't watch these other ones, I was like, well, I'm not watching
It's a
that
list.
then.
It's like bad tie-dye. The movie is like bad. The movies are
Right.
like, the whole universe is like a bad tie-dye. It's just a big fucking... It's too much.
Can you move the microphone back?
I'm sorry. I did it
Jesus.
I'm
again.
gonna hit you.
Fuck. They're going to fire me.
I've only seen, I think I've seen 4 Marvel movies. I saw Ant-Man. That was embarrassing. I saw...
Paul Rudd's embarrassing.
Paul Rudd is embarrassing.
I like him,
what
but
the
he's
fuck?
embarrassing.
No, why? He has like the most punchable face in like all of Hollywood.
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd.
He is a good sport though, because when he was on Between Two Ferns, he was good.
He's decent
He got
in
it.
Anchorman.
He is decent
Yeah.
in Anchorman 1.
That
You
is
gotta
fair.
specify.
That is very fair. That is a fair jest. No, I saw what's the magic one? We watched that one together.
The magic one.
Yeah, the guy with the magic. He's like a Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
Because the CGI and that's very impressive.
Yeah, that one was
That
cool.
was
You told me I
trippy.
should watch that one, and so did Nick too, because that one was like, it was like it felt like a Joker story, like not like the Joker story, but it felt like a more of a solo. This guy just opens up his life, and his life like changes over the movie, rather than like he's just becoming like a comic book character.
Sure.
Like with Iron Man, like fucking.
I haven't
all that
seen
stuff.
any of the Spider-Mans. Everyone just it's because it's fucking Tumblr Tom Holland.
Yeah, I don't feel like I've seen a good movie in a long time. I feel like it's been a while at least.
Got to watch a really good one.
Came out. Tenet was good.
Tenet came out. That came out like.
Is that a good movie?
Yeah.
I think that was last year.
It's a mind fuck.
Okay.
I
think that was last year though. I don't think that was this year. Tenet. I think that was late last year. I think I remember you watching it in the theater.
What did I go that for? Oh, maybe that was last year.
It could be. It was in the winter. It was in the snow season, I think.
Oh,
so
I know what I went for it for. You're right. It was September of last year.
Oh wow, that's a lot longer ago.
You know, I want to tell you, and I'm getting more used to you now because we've been talking for a little bit, but the first time I ever saw you or met you, you know, I had only heard you on the podcast.
Yes.
And I feel like your voice doesn't match your body. You have like this very,
what do you mean by that?
You just have this very deep, when I saw you in person, I just wasn't expecting to see you. Just like lanky, long hair.
I'm getting blasted over here. This man's destroying my life.
Somebody else said to him that you sounded like you sounded like Ray Kump, the comedian Ray Kump, right?
I almost hit that person.
Dude, you should have hit that person.
I was so upset. They said I sounded like this 300 borderline 400-pound comedian with a lisp. And they were like, yeah, just like your mannerisms. I was like, I'm gonna whop the shit out of you right now. Like,
I think the both of you have really good voices. It's just so deep.
Yeah, I remember one time someone as a joke was like, someone as a joke was like, you have a great voice for. He's like, we were talking about the podcast. Like, yeah, you have a great face for radio. I was like, fuck you.
Yeah,
it's such a stupid joke. I hate that.
I know who said that too.
Dickhead. Like, I can't stand that. But thank you. My voice is low. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
It's lower than mine. I think. I think it's lower because it's like harsher than mine. Mine's a little softer.
I don't even know what it sounds like.
Me either.
I genuinely don't, because I hear it in my head. In my head, I feel like I have more treble because I'm hearing it through my nose.
Yeah, no, it's very low. And I feel like that's how you're really good at being assertive too.
Just scare people.
Yeah.
Just yell at them more.
Through the nose.
What happens? What is it like when I get loud? Like really? Like
scary.
I kind of black out.
Yeah, I know.
No,
it's scary, dude.
When you get loud, like. It depends what you're getting loud for, obviously, but usually most of the time when you're getting loud, it's because you are like screaming, you're plastered, or you're screaming at the world, or you're like really trying to be funny, and it usually works. Like last night, you were somebody drove by. Remember they like did a quick whip around on the road. Clearly they were intoxicated outside the bar, and they fucking gunned it down the street, and you went, that guy's gonna kill a family of 4. And like everybody was like suddenly like under this, but they thought it was hilarious. Now when you're going off about like somebody who's wronged you, or when it's a little different story, because I can genuinely feel like your passion for whatever you're trying to sink into them at that moment.
Oh yeah, I've yelled at people before. I've never even yelled. I've just been louder.
Yeah.
Like towards people that I've been pissed at, and people who've been around me like watching it, they're like, Jesus Christ. Like it gets bad.
That
like
could be awesome though. It can be really fun.
When Ethan Davies, young Davey, that one time, you weren't there, but we were at Ron's, he's like, yeah, I wouldn't want to get in a verbal disagreement with you. He's he's just like, that just wouldn't be good for me. That's what he said. And I was like,
he's very honest.
He's right. Because it's like people who deserved it that I've gone off on, it's bad.
Yeah.
Like people, I remember one time I got mad at someone and I was just explaining, like someone else was explaining they're like, dude, if you would have saw Cade yelling at this person, you would have been like, holy shit, that dude is getting reamed right now. Like, he's just getting wrung the fuck out in public. Just like fucking that dude.
He tie-dye wrung out.
Yeah, right.
It's like that dude took him, dunked him in the water, and is just like, has like two torque wrenches on both sides.
Yeah, just drilling his
him, and they're just twisting his arm, fucking eviscerating this towel. But that was, I don't know.
The one time we actually there was only one instance where we were screaming at each other. You probably don't remember. We were in the car. I don't know what we were yelling about, but like
I yell at you every day.
I yelled at you to like stop yelling so we could talk. That's what happens, because it's like we're not gonna be able to talk if you're screaming, because he's so loud and forceful that I'm like, it's not worth it. Like, I'm not gonna make a point if he's like screaming the whole time.
And you won't. And I need to stop. And when he tells me to calm down, I'm like,
hey,
you're right.
You're learning to integrate it when it's right to attack, because we definitely need to attack some people sometimes.
It's coming. It's literally coming in like 4 weeks.
So I totally feel like I'm interviewing you guys now.
No,
I love that.
Like, we're having fun.
Keep
it's a conversation.
What is your guys' beef with the Midwest? Every time I listen to this podcast, I pause.
Kate has more of a beef with it than I do.
Yeah, Jarod does. I do. I have a beef with the Midwest.
Okay,
I would say. Well, first of all, have you looked around? I mean, that's my first statement. Have you looked outside? I mean, look, this is the thing. I think this is because I've kind of explained this a few times. This is the thing. And whether you agree or disagree with this or not, you have to remember, like, my family came from Mexico.
Okay.
Right. And then moved to Texas. And like their whole Geno group is like the Native American Mexican blood that is on the Texas-Mexican border.
Okay.
Which is like, because, obviously borders are kind of made up. So this ethnic group that exists here is put on both sides of the border. And my family, half of my family was in Mexico and half of my family was on the American side. And my grandpa only came to Chicago because there was jobs. Like, he came to the Midwest from Texas because he wanted to be an engineer.
Okay.
And he wanted, to make money. Respectful goal. You know what I mean? Like,
that seems like the core of what you're about to say.
And it was the Rust Belt, right? It was this, there's a picture here in the studio. I think in the lobby that you should look at, and I think it makes my point more clear, because it's a picture of the Kenosha harbor before it became downtown, when it was an import-export harbor. And when you look at that, I think my point makes a little more sense. Like, we are the Midwest is trying to cope with the fact that all of its manufacturing has been sent overseas. If you look up north, places where they used to have like big paper mills and stuff like that, they're not living with the benefits of having a big manufacturing hub in their smaller town. Now that paper mill or something of the sort is gone, they're only dealing with the health effects of it. Right? Like, there is, I can't remember where it is up north. Anyone who knows the story of what I'm talking about will know that it's about this paper mill shut down, and like a ton of people have cancer from drinking the water.
Oh, no shit.
And breathing in the fumes from the paper mill. Like, a ton of people have cancer, and it's like a real problem, and they never got sued because it's gone. Like, they can't do anything. So that's like what I feel the entire Midwest is the paper mill has closed down, and now everyone has cancer. Like, that's what it feels like. Like, people, like, is it cool to have all 4 seasons? Is it cool that we have like Devil's Lake and stuff like that? Yes, but it's like, you can't pretend that Wisconsin Dells isn't one of the most hideous places on the planet. I mean, it's disgusting. Like, is Milwaukee getting better? Yes. I mean, like, it's just, the thing is like,
this place doesn't seem to have a purpose anymore, because was your grandfather?
My grandfather lost his job because the company went under.
Yeah. And his purpose in coming up here, this place had a purpose. It served his purpose of wanting to expand his life.
My grandma almost didn't get her pension because the job wanted to move to Mexico, and they wanted to forcibly retire her without calling it retirement, so they wouldn't put her pension through. And so she had to like fight with them to let her have early retirement and give her a pension. So both of them came here for opportunities at working in either a white collar, blue collar position in manufacturing, and the company closes down, and then that's a wrap. And now, their kids didn't have that. My dad doesn't work in manufacturing. Nobody in my family does anything like that. Is it somewhat of a good thing? Sure. I guess it's not, the best. My grandpa had throat cancer from breathing in a bunch of fumes from when he worked at the Johnson factory building motors for boats.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what I think about it. Like, when you look at the picture of Kenosha, it's like, we are just a lot of the money is gone. The tax money is gone. We live in a system in Wisconsin where, like people were like, I can't believe Jacob Blake happened in Kenosha. It's like, no, actually, it makes a lot of sense, because when we even look at maps of like hate crimes taking place in the United States, a lot, like the counties that are considered the most racist in the United States are majority East Coast and Midwest.
Sure.
Majority. And a lot of people don't think about that. They think it's like the South. And yeah, is there bad parts of the South that are extremely racist? Of course. But it's like Kenosha is considered, before the Jacob Blake thing even happened, is considered a more racist county than Milwaukee.
Right.
So it's like Milwaukee's, and actually that's a lie. Milwaukee's considered extremely racist because of its segregation, because of its all the after effects of redlining that were done there. So it's like, when you take in, like, if you have all that shit happening, you have like an unhealthy lifestyle, and we're heavy drinkers for a reason. There's a reason why there's such a high like addiction rate in Wisconsin. It's because you're dealing with the Midwest mindset, which is like this existentialism of this you're never going to feel like you're going to get past your class. Like, if your parents were born in the middle class, a lot of people feel that they'll never do better than their parents, that they'll end up lower on the totem pole. As if it is a totem pole, which doesn't fucking exist either. But it's a fantasy. That's how I feel about it.
I was just gonna say there's a lot of beautiful places in the Midwest,
and you've gotten to go see them a lot.
Yeah, some of them.
Yeah.
But I know on a previous episode you had mentioned how like we don't have real mountains here, and
yeah, there's something, but
there is a lot of, I don't know. Yeah, we've been to a few places around in Ohio and Indiana, and there is a lot of cool things to see. But I get it though too, because we were, what was it, year before, we were in Tennessee, and that was magnificent. That was really cool.
I went to Oregon this summer. I took a road trip to Oregon.
Right.
Like, that shit was breathtaking.
He listens to the podcast.
Yeah, I know, bro.
We have to wrap up because I got to take care of you. You've been out of line on this.
Yeah, I don't know how long we've been going for.
We're at 70 minutes.
Okay.
So we got to wrap.
Yeah, I don't know how long, we can.
We've been going back to like pure hour.
Okay.
We're going back to pure hour.
We should wrap it up.
A little wiggle room with guests, but not too much.
Which is because it makes it
tight.
Easier for everybody. It makes it easier for Jeff as well. Jeff does not want to be sitting.
You don't want to be here another 3 hours?
Jeff does not want to sit there for 3 hours.
He just laughs.
But where can we find you?
Okay, well, I guess Little Bubba _tie-dye on Instagram.
Right.
That's the only place right
You're
now.
only on Instagram?
Yeah.
Where do you live?
Only
Where
on
can we really
Instagram.
find you?
Where can we... don't say that. Don't.
No, we had to bleep. Kozak did that once. And
I was good.
It was so funny,
We
though.
had a guest who was like, my address is blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I got to take that out of the podcast. And he's like, what? You're going to like send like... Well, he's like, you're going to send like hitters? And you're like, something like that.
He was like, I don't know. I'm scared of you guys. I was like, who do we send?
Who will we send?
No, what did he say? He said like
it was like shooters or something. You're like, shooters? Like, who do you think listens to this podcast? And then he's like, well, don't go to that address. Go to this address. And then he gives his mom's address.
Yeah,
so he doesn't live with.
Twice.
He's an animal.
Well, I won't. But yeah, that's. I'm on Instagram. That's about it right
Little
now.
Bubba _ tie-dye.
Make sure you spell tie-dye right. That's a hard word to.
It can be.
But we'll put it in the description.
Yeah.
Shit.
And
maybe you'll run into me. I don't know.
We'll post pictures. We'll take a picture of all three of us so we have something for the.
Sweet.
We've been forgetting to do that, to post pictures. But let's start with Andrew because we'll have the shirts. And
I know we keep
awesome,
dude. Thanks for coming on. Like,
yeah. Well, thank you guys.
This was a long time coming. We were all so fucking excited.
Yeah,
I love you.
I love you guys.
Christ.
Like, this is really cool. I really do. I really think that you guys are inspiring. I really do. I think that, you know, you guys, I gotta say it into the mic, you know, I mean, but you guys you've helped me. And I do think that the world is a better place with you guys in it, doing what you do.
I'm glad that one of the positive things about this world is having 2 college dropouts on the brink, truly, every day, who scream into a microphone. And good. And God bless for it. But I'm glad that you get that for the podcast. We wouldn't have this without
2 young bucks.
our wonderful Nick Ancona, the wonderful Jeff Bass, you know,
and the whole team at Kenosha.
The whole team at Kenosha. I mean, the only reasons we're here. Right. I mean, we would have figured something out, but the way that we have this set up is beautiful. And I'm glad hearing like someone who is a fan and also like a genuine guest on the podcast for something that they're doing feels like it's worth listening to, because it's like
maybe we're manifesting stuff. Hopefully,
I like what you guys got to say.
I mean, I'm manifesting a stalker and then a gun at the door. I mean, that's most likely.
And we got that. That's at the door.
Yeah,
but I'd rather manifest people like Andrew.
I'd rather have Andrew, but
yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. Please check out Andrew at _tie-dye on Instagram. Please check us out on all things TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We also have the YouTube. Please check out www.ikenosha.com. Please
subscribe to our YouTube channel.
And that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Yeah.
Bye-bye.